Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome again to my YouTube channel, Eric Broadish YouTube. I say again, welcome to my YouTube channel, Eric Broadish YouTube. And I guess you can guess by today that I'll be briefly going through some military content. And this will be a part of a continuing series with the requirements for different branches of the military. And today I will be covering the qualifications and requirements for becoming an officer in the United States Space Force. Again, this will briefly cover the qualifications for becoming an officer in United States Space Force, as I'm responding to a request from a subscriber that wanted me to touch on the requirements of Space Force. So I've already done the fitness portion for men and both women, what the fitness standards are for Space Force. So now I want to go into the officer side, and this video won't be too long. As I said, I will be cranking out more content for my podcast and also more military content. So let's get started, guys. All right, so to become an officer in the United States Space Force, you have to meet the following criteria. One is be a U.S. citizen. Number two, you have to go through a background check, obviously through the FBI. So at the minimum, you're going to have to get a secret clearance, and that's for any branch of the military. Now, depending on what career field you have, it can go all the way up to like top secret. So it depends what type of career or job you will be doing in the United States Space Force that may require certain clearances. And the higher the clearance or background check, the more that they have to dig. You know, and the background checks, I believe they go in ranges of 5, 10, I think maybe as far back as maybe 20. You know, depending on the need and severity of the background check, you know, for whatever job you will be doing in the Space Force. All right. Let's see. Next, obviously you have to pass a health exam, which you'll go through that through the MEP station. You know, all military members have to go through MEPs, you know, and that's where they check you out physically. To be sure, and they give you a physical exam and a health exam to be sure that you're healthy and suitable enough for military service. You know, and as I stated in the last video or several videos, that the military population is abnormally healthy. So, and that's because they're very selective on who they choose. And the reason being is that Uncle Sam doesn't want to take individuals that might have certain health pre-existing health conditions that would make them not worldwide qualified for any deployment or any particular use, you know, to that branch of service. And also, if you go in with certain conditions, the government doesn't want to invest that type of money in any soldier, guardsmen, airmen, seamen, coast guardsmen, you know, and I guess for the Army, I guess you call them, soldiers, you know, or Marines. You know, it costs a lot of money to invest in each serviceman and woman. It costs money. And so they're willing to pay for any medical conditions that may occur during your service, and then follow on afterward and pay through the Veterans Administration once you get rated for your compensation. But I don't want to get too far off, but this boils down to are you fit for military service? And you know, how can basically what use can you be to Uncle Sam? So they're very specific on their criteria. Background checks cost money. I mean, these background, and the higher the level of the background check and the deeper that the FBI has to dig, they cost money. So this stuff is not cheap. You know, so that's why. And so yes, they are particular, you know what I'm saying? Or if you want to say picky. All right. So that would explain that. Next is education requirements. Now, obviously, they're saying the education requirements may vary by program of interest, but normally, as it's also in the cases with the Space Force also, in order to be an officer in any branch of service, and I'm not talking about a warrant officer, I'm talking about to be straight from second lieutenant all the way up to general, you have to go in with a minimum of a bachelor's degree, or a bachelor's degree minimum must be earned, and there's different pathways to go about doing that. Now, I served on the enlisted side, and if it were me, after having served 20 years in the military, I personally, I don't know. I guess I probably would say maybe go in on the officer side, with some bars or something like that, because they do, and they make some money. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I mean, if you want to go on the enlisted side, hey, that's cool too. Whatever it is that's gonna suit your needs. Some people, it's more beneficial just to go into the military more immediately, or maybe you may want to take the different pathways that the military offers to pay for your schooling in exchange to give them at least 8 years of service, and they'll pay off, your school debt in exchange, but nothing is for free. So they want something in exchange, and basically, since time is money, well, they want at least an 8-year service obligation from you, or commitment, should they pay for your schooling and basically commission you to become an officer. But like I said again, it boils down to dollars and cents, and basically what can you do for Uncle Sam. So it's an exchange, and there's a saying that goes, there is what is it? There's no what is it? A fair exchange? There's no unfair exchange, or it's not robbery to have fair exchange. So one hand washes the other, and both hands wash the face. So it's a deal, Let's see. Also, you have to pass the Air Force officer qualifying test. Okay, and so what that does, that assesses this particular test. It assesses your verbal, your math, and other skills. So basically, I guess how you may be able to communicate, because as an officer, you are going into immediate leadership. Even if you're at the bottom of the officer corps, like a junior officer, like a second lieutenant, first lieutenant, you still are going to be a leader. Even though you may not have the experience yet, they're still going to put you in that role and get you trained as a leader, because you're coming from, as an officer, you are going to be at the strategic level of leadership. And obviously, like anything else on the enlisted side, it's tactical, but there's different strata or different levels, So a second lieutenant, obviously, you're just new to the game, but they're going to train you. So be prepared, for leadership, and leadership opportunities will open up. Now, like anything else, it'll be what you make of it, So it'll be up to you, how far you go, and also what type of leader do you want to be? Do you want to be, which is nothing wrong with it, do you want to be the leader of, say, maybe pencils and broomsticks, or do you want to be, maybe the leader, of a Starfleet? I'm just giving you an example, so depending on how you handle your opportunities in the military, it will decide how far you go with anything else. And also, I believe officers generally tend to have a bit higher year of tenure, meaning that once they make certain grades, they are allowed to serve longer than enlisted. Enlisted, the max, depending on your grade, that you can serve, if you're like an E9, I believe it's something like maybe 20, maybe 26 or 28. I think it's 28 years, or is it? I think it's 30 if you're an E9. And if you happen to be the E9 of that branch of service, like say Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, or Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, then you may be able to serve maybe an additional year or two. So maybe go 31, 32 years, where as an officer, if you make it up to general, I think you may can serve as many as 40 to 42 years. So you have a bit of a longer wear out time. But both branches of service, I mean, both sides, enlisted and officer, do have higher year of tenure, meaning that you have a certain time frame to make a certain grade or rank, and if you don't progress and make a certain grade or rank within a certain time frame, then the United States Space Force, as with any other branch, they will discharge you for failure to progress. And it doesn't mean you won't get out with a dishonorable discharge. You get out with an honorable discharge, but you just can't re-enlist, or you can't serve any longer, because the military is not going to continue to pay certain individuals that remain at a low grade. They're not going to keep you on Uncle Sam's books. They're going to be like, well, if you haven't progressed, you had a certain time limit to make your rank a grade, and that's it. We're going to discharge you, and hey, have a nice day. You're a veteran now. But so in any branch of service, and United States Space Force is no different. You have to progress in rank. So I'm for a second or a first lieutenant. You probably have maybe some gimmies in making your grades, but I think up to captain. But once you are trying to make major and above, I believe you have to test, and you're gonna have to earn those bars. And there is a higher year of tenure of how long you can stay in. And you want to make the highest grade that you can, so at least you can get a good retirement out of it. There's a I think there's a 2-star general that's retired that I know from the Marine Corps, and he was a fighter pilot, and he retired from the Marine Corps, and he told me that his retirement check after taxes is $8,000 a month, and plus he gets cost of living adjustments to it, every year. So I'm just giving you, something to think about. That's what he made in retirement. So if he made that in retirement, normally your retirement is half of what your base pay was. So if 8,000, and this was years ago, if 8,000 was his retirement pay, then that means that when he was serving, his base pay was at least 16,000 a month, plus other special pays that were added to it. So it's something to think about. But even a second lieutenant, who's at the bottom, just starting off, they make some pretty good money, and the paper gets better as they progress in rank. Them officers get paid. So it would behoove you to consider that, but if not, there are different pathways where you may go in as an enlisted and take a pathway to become an officer, or if you go in, with a degree, and you decide to go in as an officer, you can go in that way also. So there's different pathways. But let's see. Also, there's a selection board. So a selection board will review your package, which will be submitted to the officer selection board, and they will review it. And so based upon their review, that will determine whether or not you will be able to become commissioned as an officer. So now let's talk about the several different pathways that you can use to become an officer in the Space Force. Okay, there's several ways to become a Space Force officer, including one would be the U.S. Air Force Academy. The Air Force Academy offers free tuition in exchange for Space Force service. And as again I said, that time frame, if you sign up, you have to give them an 8-year commitment after you graduate from college. So it's pretty much 8-year military service obligation, known as acronym would be MSO, military service obligation. So you have to give them 8 years in order for them to pay your student loan off for you in exchange for them putting you, through school. Another career path is a Reserve Officers Training Course, known as ROTC. Enroll in an Air Force ROTC scholarship program at a college or university. Third, Officer Training School, known as OTS. Guardians with a college degree can attend Officer Training School to learn core values and skills. Okay, if you're already in another military branch, you can apply to transfer to the Space Force through the Inter-Service Transfer Program. However, not everyone is eligible for transfer, so that's just a heads up. Now, for those that may be foreigners that decide and want to get their citizenship, enlisting in the United States Armed Forces is one pathway to get your citizenship. Now, what will happen for those of you that say maybe foreign nationals that are not U.S. citizens yet, you can enlist in the United States Armed Forces, and obviously you have your what do they call it for a green card? I know a green card has to do with your naturalization papers, but the difference is you'll be able to serve in the military, but you won't be able to go overseas. So what they will do, they'll keep you have you serving in the United States, known as CONUS, until you gain your naturalization and become a United States citizen. Then after that, you will be able to deploy, and you will be able to serve, either in the United States or in any other in foreign countries, wherever the assignment or mission deems necessary, wherever your job and mission is available. So that's another pathway for those of you that may be, like I said, foreign nationals that are seeking to gain U.S. citizenship, provided you meet the requirements. The United States military and Space Force likewise that's one way to get it, but you have to wait a certain amount of years while serving in the military before they grant you your naturalization or your U.S. citizenship, and then after that you'll be able to serve abroad and also deploy in different parts of the world. So this is something brief and something to consider for those of you that may want to go in this route. And remember that Space Force is the branch of the military that we don't fight wars in space yet. We haven't discovered aliens yet. So this right here is still would be considered a peacetime branch. There's not really not unless you're going to link up with the Air Force and they're going to put you on boots on the ground with a joint command and have you serve in other locations. Other than that, right now it's a voluntary force. So there's perks and benefits to it, and I just gave you the officer side. Obviously the enlisted side I've already explained to you, but it's the same as any other branch of service, in terms of enlisting and things like that. It's just a different branch with a different mission. So if you choose, hey, this might be a good opportunity, and it seems like a very prestigious branch of service, and it is new. So for those of you that want to be pioneers and break on in, hey, welcome to join, if you meet the qualifications. But that's all I have on this one, and I want to say thank you to all my subscribers, and I will be pushing out the content as I said I would. I am a man of my word, and I will keep it. But I thank you guys for listening and supporting the channel. Thank you to all my day ones. Really appreciate it. And so please leave a comment. Smash the like button to like the video. If you don't like it, hey, smash the unlike button and leave a comment. Everybody is entitled to their opinion and their perspective and has a right to be heard. Smash the bell to become a subscriber. And this channel is Eric Broadus YouTube, EricBroadus YouTube, or ericbroadusyoutube.com. Also, I have a podcast, Snacks Thoughts, SNAKZTHOUGHTS, Snacks Thoughts, and you can find my podcast on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Radio PBM, and a host of other social media outlets. So please also join Snacks Thoughts and share Snacks Thoughts and Eric Broadus YouTube. Share them with friends, family, enemies, frenemies, cats, goats, bats, whatever. Share them both and push them out, guys. But again, this right here is requirements for those that desire to become officers in the United States Space Force. So become a guardian of the galaxy. Hey, check out the officer side. You get them bars on your shoulders. You going in making money and with better perks than even the enlisted side. Peace out, guys. Catch you on the next one later.